Bhatura. Hi, I'm Anupa and I welcome you to Sanjeev Kapoor Khazana and a warm welcome to a series of cooking for beginners. Let's make Bhatura. Bhatura is a nice, good, puffed bread. Especially it is served with chole. Now chole is a delicacy which belongs to Punjab and bhature is an accompaniment to chole. So we'll first see how to make bhature and eventually we'll also see how to make chole. But to make bhatura, we need certain ingredients. So let's quickly see what all we need to make bhatura. We need refined flour or maida, yogurt, powdered sugar, oil, salt, baking powder and baking soda. So once you have gathered all the ingredients, make sure you have to weigh them perfectly. So if your recipe says 1 teaspoon of baking powder, you may as well have 1 teaspoon only and not put 1.5 teaspoon because bhatura is a quite technical recipe and you have to follow all the ingredients just as mentioned in your recipe card. So what we'll do first is we have to sieve refined flour. So we'll take this in a strainer. To this we'll add baking soda, baking powder. This basically when you sieve this, firstly the soda, baking powder and maida, it gets mixed and secondly in case there are any impurities in the flour, it all gets sieved off. So that's it, this is done. Now what we have to do is, I have plain yogurt here with me, to which I'm going to add some powdered sugar and salt. We'll mix this up well, just take plain yogurt and if you have sour yogurt at home, it's all the more better. There are a lot of bhatura recipes you will find on the internet. Quite a few recipes demand using yeast, but this recipe doesn't need any yeast, just that you have to use yogurt. And like I've said, if it's sour yogurt, all the more better. So if you have good, nice sweet yogurt at home, what you should do is get it out and keep it for about 4 hours. So when you leave the yogurt out, it automatically goes sour. And that's how you use this yogurt. So after you have mixed in the sugar and salt, what we'll do is we'll create a well and we'll add all the yogurt to this. Now is the actual exercise. You have to incorporate all of this in the dough, but at the same time, you have to knead this well. Bhatura dough is all about kneading. For that matter, any bread dough, if you knead it well, you will have a very good product. So this is how, slowly just take some more flour in, knead it like this. Now we need to add some water here. Actually, the bhatura dough has to be very soft. So to get soft dough, after you have added the yogurt, just add water, but little by little. Don't add lots of it, because the dough may go very sticky. So just to avoid that, water can be added at regular intervals. So after you have incorporated all of this, you can add some more water. It's always better to add water little by little. So some more water again. See this? Just keep on kneading. Actually, this is a very good exercise for the hands. There was a time when food processors were not even invented. People used to knead doughs of 5 kilos, 10 kilos by hand and it was to be a very good exercise then. These days food processors have taken its place and doughs are all kneaded in food processors. When you make a dough in a processor, the actual kneading doesn't take place. All that it does is that it just mixes all the fluids and the flours together and gives you a dough. But in case of bhatura, you have to actually knead it, you have to stretch the dough so that you get lovely bhaturas and you will see it when we fry these bhaturas. So for that, kneading is extremely important. You see this, the dough is soft but not as soft as you would need to make a bhatura. So some more water and I think this should be sufficient. So after you have mixed it well, now let's add some oil. When you add oil to any dough, it acts as a shortening agent. So when you add oil to bhatura dough, your bhaturas will go slightly crisp or khasta as we call it in Hindi. So now again, carefully incorporate all the oil in the dough and knead the dough at the same time. It's very important to knead the dough so that it gets pliable, it goes stretchable. Because at the end, when you have to actually roll the bhatura, the dough should not tear. That is the main idea in kneading this. So the more you knead the dough, the more stretchable it will get and of course by the end of it you will have really good khasta bhaturas. So the main thing is that your dough has to stretch so well. You see this what I'm doing? Just fold it and just keep on stretching. You see, it's very easy. It will only stretch this way if you knead it. So knead it and stretch the dough. It's very important. So this dough is done. All you need to do is shape it into a ball now. We'll take a muslin cloth, a wet muslin, and we'll cover and keep this dough. This needs to rest for 1 hour. And after 1 hour, we will make bhaturas, for which we'll need a kadai with hot oil. But this will need at least an hour of rest. So it's been an hour, and since then this bhatura dough is resting. So let's see. Okay, quite pliable. What we have to do now is make this into small balls. Just shape them up like this, and we'll leave it on the chopping board itself. After you shape them into balls, we have to again rest this for 10 minutes. We have used leavening agents like baking powder and baking soda so that the dough will rise again, and we'll be able to make the bhaturas. We are going to be making small bhaturas because we have a decent size kadhai. Generally in restaurants, they have big kadhais in which big bhaturas can be fried at one time, but since at home we don't have such big vessels, we'll make small size bhaturas. Just that you have to first shape these up into balls, and we have to further leave it to rest for at least 10 minutes. In the meanwhile, what you should do is keep a kadhai with oil, because the oil also has to get extremely hot. We can't fry bhaturas in moderately heated oil or even low. So the oil also has to be very hot. So bhaturas will be fried in very, very hot oil. So after you've shaped them, we have to apply oil to the dough. So just apply oil, lots of oil, so that it doesn't dry off. And we'll let this rest for 10 minutes. So now what we have to do is, I have this kadai with oil which is also nice and hot. Let's take one portion of the dough, and we have to now roll this. So use a rolling pin. Bhatura is not round, it's generally oblong, oval in shape. Try and give it that shape. At the same time, you have to make sure that you thin it out from all the sides. So once like this and once from the other side. So that is how you need to roll this, and we'll put it in the oil. And you see this? It starts puffing. Lovely. You see this? The entire bhatura has puffed. So just turn it and fry the other side as well. So you have to basically roll it evenly so that it puffs evenly. And if you have a bowl full of chole ready, this is going to be an ideal combination. So this is done. So making bhaturas is all about making a good dough and rolling it evenly. So this is how you have your hot bhaturas ready. Isn't it very simple? So that's it. Make this recipe just the way I have made it, and you'll be very proud of yourself.